I think one other thing we learned is that, at least for pharma in particular, at least those organizations that had built strong patient support structures, they were very well positioned compared to those that were lacking some of those additional modalities. So as we were incorporating our human-based interventions and making those available through video-based or telephonic-based conversations and consults, we would see a significant improvement in the level of engagement, i.e. we were expanding beyond the 30% digital responders.
You can deliver really great digital capabilities and tools that doesn't always change. It rarely moves the needle alone on a patient's ability to digest and understand the information that's actually being delivered via that tool.
I saw a very interesting case across the globe, but some very interesting in Europe, where they really tracking the symptoms, send alerts, and have like the healthcare professionals and the work structure and relate of the healthcare system really supporting not only the patients, but support with actions in the moment that we have any kind of alert.
As really savvy practices quickly instituted telehealth protocols, it's been amazing to see how much that was able to bridge, the capacity gap when states had lockdowns, right? Of who could come into the office versus not. So I just think it will continue to be a tremendous tool going forward. There's no getting away from it.
And sure enough, nobody had trained this individual on the use of the connected pen. So very simple example that there's a secondary cap that needed to be removed. So not only for 6 months was this patient not injecting the insulin, his telehealth encounters or phone calls, frankly, with his PCP, the PCP kept upping his dose. And frankly, had he actually injected himself with the level of insulin, that would have been a very dire outcome. And these are the types of things you can pick up in that environmental conversation. I'm not sure that would have ever come up in an in-clinic setting.
It wasn't the patient that piped up with the question, it was the caregiver, right? And there is something about the format of how we've all been engaging over video for the last year and a half, which is so different than, the old phone calls, single person to single person. It's such a powerful example of the familial ecosystem is sometimes the unlock to what's really going on with the patient.
Remote patient monitoring have been a big and important aspect. The overall treatment is not, because before we have the drug and sometimes support. Right now we are saying to really have a treatment is the drug plus all the support that you need to associate with that.
A patient can come into our practice and we can ingest very easily, with their consent, of course, easily ingest longitudinal data, clinical data, to inform our approach. Not just about, in fact, feed that directly into our clinical workflow. We can very quickly now, identify gaps in care. We can identify, frankly, there's some patient phenotyping that can go on so that we can understand both specifically with that patient and in the background at a population level.
Mark, any last thoughts?
What's interesting for us is seeing the application of these individuals. So not just in service as it relates to pharma, not just in service of consumer engagement, but even moving upstream in pursuit and support of phase 3, phase 4, and then into consumer engagement programs. There's really a place for patient engagement platforms in that construct. And I think telehealth will tremendously inform the efficacy of virtual clinical trials, in addition to the efficacy of just adherence programs overall. I'm excited about that. I'm excited for patients overall. A lot of these new rules don't get a lot of airplay yet, but we'll open our eyes 12 months, 18 months from now, and everyone's going to realize, wow, it was a lot easier for me to get my information from point A to point B. And you know what? I don't necessarily need to get in my car and drive down to the clinic unless I absolutely have to. and I can still get quality care and support that I need. That's what I'm excited about, and I think the future is bright for places like Cecelia and others that are promulgating these strategies.